What's up, guys? So I'm going to discuss the fruit path real quick and my journey with it so far. So I just moved to California about 10 days ago, and I started off like 7 days on fruit just to get myself up there a little bit. Took a little break, and what's crazy is I'm starting to see that I'm craving salt and sugar mainly, and it's weird because the sugar is like more manageable with fruits. Like it's more doable. Like with dates, it helps. Dates like help a lot. Sapodilla, if I can find it. Mame. Good amount of fruits will help with that. And then the salt is my difficult part. So it's like there's not really a fruit I found that helps with that. And people say seaweed, but that doesn't really work for me. Just a little bit, but I feel like I need to find something really good to keep that back, and there is the ocean over here, so I've been using that occasionally as help. But I've noticed it's coming from a spot in me that's lacking something. Spot in me that I'm like this emotional. It's like I have to dig really, really deep to find out what it is I'm holding on to. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's a little tricky because letting go is not the easiest thing for me to do. I usually get attached to a whole lot of things, and being free sometimes is difficult. So I feel like that's where my draw to salt is just attachment to things and not letting go. I don't know if that makes sense, but because I've noticed this is why I've noticed salt is a little bit weird, because I've started making the same cooked foods I've had without salt, and it tastes completely different. Like if you've got to try this, like make your favorite meal and make sure there's no salt in it. Like if you're using chickpeas, make sure there's no salt in the chickpeas, and then make sure there's no salt in anything else you're using, and then watch how it tastes. It'll be a massive difference, and you'll know what I mean. It's very interesting. So I think there's a huge agenda with these restaurants and everything, and a whole thing behind it that we don't know, but who knows. Anyways, you may ask, why am I doing this? Why is it so important to keep salt away? Well, it's because I've noticed that I'm kind of stuck, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel like body odor should be a natural thing. I feel like a lot of us think that it's natural, but I don't think it is. I think it's from stuff that's just been rotting inside of us. I know that sounds ugly, but hey, so I'm like, okay, well, I haven't touched really any junk foods in a very long time, so why do I still have some body odor? It's not as bad as it used to be, but still. And I'm thinking that there's something in this cooked food I'm eating that's got to be feeding some unwanted guests, and it's got to be the salt, because that's the one thing I'm very drawn to. That's the one thing that makes these foods hard to stop eating. And I may be wrong. Maybe it's not as bad as I think, like Himalayan salt, sea salt, but I still think they're very addictive, because if you should really try your food without salt and see how you react to it. Because a lot of people say it's about the raw food lifestyle, it's the raw vegan, don't eat cooked foods. But I've tried that, and I've found that it's, if you still have salt in your raw food, it's not really doing much for you. I mean, it's cleaner than a lot of, things out there, but still, I mean, if you're adding salt to these salads and, these things, these raw food, just these raw foods, it's not gonna really do you much. Trust me, I've tried a year on it, and I would be careful. I don't know about a year, but I would say about 6 months. About 6 months. So I would try that without salt. That's just my recommendation. So, and I also see that we should be free from this earth. And I know this is kind of like an out here thing to say, especially in today's society, but if you already know about astral projection and out-of-body experiences, then this is nothing for you. This is for those of us that don't understand this too well, including myself. But I feel as if we should be free to travel to other worlds, and travel all over the place, because I feel like being trapped here is it's weird, just thinking that you're on this earth and then you wake up here. And I'm coming to the conclusion that there must be some kind of attachments that I'm holding on to that keep me stuck here, and my energetic attachment to salt and sugar has been a big player in that. Also, just some other desires that keep me trapped here. I believe that's what's rooted in it, because I've only had one very, very quick, I guess you could call it astral projection. Maybe it was a lucid dream. Other than that, I've only had one. So I know for a fact that we should not be trapped here, and at least I'm pretty sure. And I know that sounds weird to most of us who were asleep, but there's just a lot of things that have made me think about, you know, why is it that we have body odor? Why is it that I'm not free to travel? Why is it that I feel like I should have our potential should be much more than it is now? You know, why is it that we, you know, I think that we need to start thinking outside the box, because a lot of us are not thinking outside the box. We're listening to what people and parents tell us about how to live our lives, you know. And I think, you know, Steve Jobs and people that invented major things were people that thought outside the box, because they realized that there is so much more out there. And I think for those of us that think outside the box, it's a good thing that we're crazy, because we're on to something major. I mean, how would you discover something new? You know, if you're going to discover something new, people are going to call you crazy because it's never been seen. And in order to do something that's never been seen, you're going to have to be okay with being called crazy. You know what I mean? So that could be with anything. Because for me, I believe anything is possible. I don't really want to limit myself in that way. But I kind of went off from the fruit. But this is what the fruit is opening me up to. It's opening me up to all these possibilities of what we can be, a bunch of stuff that I don't know, a different way to approach pain. There's many things. So I'll have more videos coming out on this. You know, I don't really want to talk about a fruitarian diet, because I'm not going to be just eating fruit for the rest of my life. I feel like that's kind of weird. But if that's you, I respect you. That's cool. But like, for me, I feel best on fruit. I feel best eating that. I feel like that's the most natural food. I feel like foods with salt kind of keep me stuck. It's good in the moment, but after it, I realize I need to outgrow that. That's just me. So that's my journey so far with food and everything. Thanks for watching, and later.